What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what happened to NIO today and break down why NIO moved the way it did. I'm also going to talk about the overall market, what's going on with Tesla, SPY, and these other tickers, what you should be watching for going into next week. But before I break things down, all this information, before I give you guys any price predictions, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to NIO. NIO is currently down 2.98% for the day, underperforming again, and this is as a result of what happened after its deliveries reports. NIO had decent deliveries, not the strongest we could have wished for, but the overall trend for deliveries is still upwards, and we're likely going to see NIO continue to grow as time goes on. So I'm going to break down more information about deliveries, especially in my video for tomorrow. I'm going to talk more about the long term for NIO in that video, but I just want to talk about the short term for the markets and break down how things are looking in this video. So for NIO's deliveries, as you guys know, we did only 10,000 deliveries for February. Sorry, not February, for the month of January. This came out on February 1st. Basically, we did only 10,000 deliveries. This is a slight decrease relative to what we saw in December. And this is part of why the share price has been underperforming, because there's a slight decrease overall. It's a little bit negative news, but it is what it is, guys, because once again, January tends to not be the strongest of periods relative to December. And we're going to be watching to see how this continues going into February. February could also be kind of weak because of Lunar New Year. Sales might be a little bit down because of the Chinese New Year holiday. And we're seeing a lot of traveling, so NIO is going to be charging more for certain battery packs. Now, right now, NIO is down quite a bit. It lost about 30% of its value in just 4 weeks. Is this a good dip buying opportunities, or is NIO going to continue to drop? NIO is very oversold. It's been very much just beaten. We're seeing a lot of shorts piling in, and there's been a lot of bad news coming out for the entire EV sector, right? Tesla's also down pretty big. Other stocks are down, so it is what it is. But I do believe, as looking at different indicators, NIO is still very, very undervalued. Right now, NIO is currently on Zacks rank number 2 for a buy, which means that it's a very, very good buying opportunity according to different analysts. And looking at their growth potential, I think things are not so bad. On top of this, many analysts are raising their earnings estimates for the current year, which has led to an increase in the consensus EPS by about 18.6%, which is a slight improvement. As NIO starts to scale up, we could see some improvements here and there, but I'm going to break down more about the share price maybe later on. Now, what else is worth noting is that the sales in China have also come out, and they're continuing to report more and more information. Looking at the other companies out there, we're actually seeing Li Auto down quite a bit. Their deliveries were not the strongest compared to December, and that's the same thing that happened to like all these other companies such as XPeng. It's a very similar trend that's affecting NIO. So we can't just call out NIO and say that NIO is down on deliveries. Other companies are also down, but the question is, how will this affect us moving forward? I'll be talking about that as well. Once again, we're starting to see that NIO's app is not showing delivery wait times as the Chinese New Year is approaching, which is going to be between February 10th and the 17th. So happy New Year to people around the world. This is very important because during this period, there are a lot of holidays, lots of travels in China, and their sales tend to not be the best. Prior to today, the wait times were 4 to 5 weeks and 2 to 3 weeks for other models for NIO. With the big disruptions to production deliveries, we're not really seeing more accurate estimates right now, so this could lead to some disruptions. So it is what it is. But for now, with the holiday coming up, it tends to be a slower period in China, so we might see a slowdown in sales over there, but things will improve later on. Now, with that being said, let's talk about some earnings that are coming up. Basically, if you look at Earnings Whisper, we have Caterpillar, McDonald's, and just a couple of others for Monday. Palantir is coming out for aftermarket close, and everything else is very minor throughout the week, except for Wednesday. Right here, we have Alibaba, Uber, and a few others, not to mention PayPal, Walt Disney, and a few others for aftermarket close. So we'll be watching those very carefully. For the economic calendar, I just want to call out that for next week, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI coming out. We also have Bostic from the Fed giving a speech. For Tuesday, we just have Mester giving a speech and very minor things coming out. Nothing's too serious for Wednesday as well. We just have some Fed speakers. But then as Thursday approaches, we have some initial jobless claims data coming out. And everything else is very minor. But then the week after, so this is going to be like after the Super Bowl and etc., that's when we have CPI and such. That's when things become a lot more serious. Besides that, NIO had about 56 million in volume, a little bit below what we typically get. And we still have the same ratings. The price price ratio is dropping because NIO is looking relatively weak. So what's happening to the share price? For the short term, NIO is looking kind of bearish. I just want to mention that this is important because when you look at the 4-hour time frame, right? NIO has been just on a big downtrend. We're getting rejected off the 4-hour 20 EMA, so we're still looking kind of weak. On Monday, look for a rebound towards 5.73. We have to try to break above this to push up to 6. If we fail to break 5.73 at this point, we're going to reject and continue sinking. So there's a very good chance NIO could drop lower, so you want to be very careful in looking at it. For SPY, I just want to mention that SPY is still on an uptrend. We're going to likely come down a little bit on Monday after this monstrous day. Then we're going to be watching to see if we push up later on during the day. I believe anywhere between 495 and 500 SPY is going to form a top. And then we're going to get a rejection. So you want to be very careful up here. But right now, we're still looking very strong. SPY is still holding up very nicely. Could come down a little bit on Monday, then push up to form its final top before this thing rejects and starts to head back down. I believe a trend change is still pending. We're not there quite yet, but it is due for a big pullback, which I think will be coming soon. But first, despite this, triple bearish divergence that's developing, SPY could pop a little bit more before we correct it. But I'll be talking more about that in my video for tomorrow. As for Tesla, we're turning on the daily. Tesla, as long as we try to hold above this resistance, if we try to break above the 5 EMA, we could be looking for a push back up into the mid 190s. So Tesla's still showing some life, especially as it got bought up today. Daily also looks kind of bullish, so let's hope that actually leads to a push. Aapl, kind of bullish, nice bounce off the daily 200 EMA, might make its way up to 188. If we could try to hold where we are, but the overall trend could still be in the downwards direction. This could be establishing a downtrend. We made a lower high, might make a lower low right here, a lower high right here, then another lower low. So watch for that on Aapl. It could rebound though, at least initially. The QQQ is holding up nicely, but we're at some type resistance at 430. If we break out 432 is technically possible, but you want to be very careful on this thing. We also have a triple bearish divergence developing. So you want to be careful when you see those. And we'll see how this holds up. I could see this push a little higher, though. It's still possible the market holds up, but I do believe a top is coming soon. I'll be talking more about that tomorrow. Same thing on Nvda. Nvda is still looking very strong. We managed to hit 666. Now we're at 661 right now. We could push a little higher, so it still could push higher. I wouldn't necessarily rule it out just yet. It's still looking very strong. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Otherwise, unfortunately, some EVs like NIO are looking very weak, especially on the daily. If we can't break 5.73, this thing will likely end up sinking lower. So with that being said, thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll be talking more about NIO's deliveries tomorrow than my long-term projections. But with that being said, have a great day and peace out.